Singapore has long been the envy of many of its neighbours, enjoying a stable economy, a cosmopolitan environment and a good standard of living. But like other Asian countries, it's been suffering from recession and is currently experiencing record unemployment, challenges that are alien to many Singaporeans. Now, a growing number are looking overseas for better job and lifestyle opportunities. Susan Yu has the story.
When you're trying to find your place in the world, some say it can be a jungle out there. But in Singapore, ask natives how they view their country, and this is likely what they'll tell you.
People find, first of all, that Singapore is a very efficient, clean place to live in. They feel it is very safe for those with families. They like the safety. They like the lack of violence, the lack of drugs, guns in our schools, etc. The educational system is also said to be very good.
Singapore's multi-ethnic society and cosmopolitan flavor are also advertised as something to smile about.
So smile, Singapore!
But today, the country's picture-perfect image is overshadowed by hard times. Singapore's unemployment rate is at its highest in 20 years. Private sector jobs have sunk to an all-time low, and there are also fewer government openings on offer. Until recently, Julian Chua was one of Singapore's 89,000 unemployed. After graduating from university in Australia, she returned to Singapore, but was unprepared for what awaited her.
I was really at my wits' end when I realized that none of the applications I've sent out came back, and with a positive reply. I was really depressed because I thought with my degree I should be able to land in a job.
Her experience is increasingly being shared by fresh graduates. 1 in 4 of the unemployed is a degree or diploma holder. They're joining the tens of thousands of white and blue-collar workers made redundant because of the knock-on effects of the global downturn and the SARS outbreak. Singapore's sluggish economy and the recent spate of retrenchments affecting the private and government sectors have been a rude awakening for most Singaporeans. These days, many are looking elsewhere for better job opportunities and also a change in lifestyle.
If things get difficult in terms of the level of stress, and if there is a lower level of comfort due to the stress, there is little else to keep them here because of this relatively lesser attachment to the soil, so to speak.
Despite plenty of government retraining programs available for the retrenched, more and more Singaporeans are opting not for a change in career, but a change in scenery. Since 2001, thousands have packed their bags and migrated to Australia. The number of those leaving for the United States has tripled. New Zealand and Canada have also experienced an influx of Singaporean migrants.
It's quite interesting that there is a high rate of out-migration from Singapore, that many Singaporeans leave Singapore for so-called greener pastures. They leave for a life of greater flexibility and ease. So I think there is a problem of lack of attachment to Singapore, which Singaporeans have to deal with in order to be able to retain some of its talent.
The situation hasn't gone unnoticed. The Prime Minister, Goh Chok Tong, says the ball is in Singaporeans' court. Either they are stayers or quitters. Joshua Koh is neither a stayer or a quitter. He's more of an expediter. After being made redundant twice in the last 2 years, the former finance manager decided it was time to take matters into his own hands. Koh started a company consulting Singaporeans on migration issues.
Of course, the economic downturns and so on will make people more open, more receptive to the idea of looking for better opportunities. Yeah.
Do you think this is the start of a trend?
I believe so. It's not just because of economic downturn, but as the world progresses, as the globalization and so on, people need to travel from different economies, different countries.
And it's not just professionals who are opting out. Koh says he's seen an upsurge in the number of blue-collar workers interested in leaving.
Be it in Hong Kong or Singapore, housing, cars and so on are very expensive. even though the tax rate is lower, but I mean the price is also, people are thinking, you know, they go there, they can afford a nice house instead of cramped little flat.
So much fun, so much laughter, so much love forever after I wait.
The country's patriarchal governance, covering everything from family values to censorship, has resulted in Singapore being known as a staid, straight-laced place with a compliant citizenry.
Kids make me see how happy life can be.
We have capitalized on these forces or these influences. What we thought would be important to maintain our core values, hard work, of respect for the elders, maintaining racial and social cohesion, as well as putting community and family above self, should be maintained and strengthened.
But for some, pressures to maintain these values have become too much to bear.
Like back here at home, my parents would expect me to spend more time at home, to spend time with the family, doing things that would be safe, in that sense, very safe and secure. My studies overseas has helped me to dare to take risks, to dare to try out new opportunities.
As Singapore's local talent pool slowly shrinks, the country is recognizing that it has to be more liberal, creative, and competitive to reinvigorate its economy. In an unprecedented move, the government has formed a special group called the Remaking of Singapore Committee to come up with ideas to reshape the country's image and economy.
We have become a much more open society. We have become much more cosmopolitan. It's a much more exciting and vibrant place to live and work. And Singaporeans who left because of disaffection or discomfort might have the opportunity to relook at Singapore.
But have the changes come too late? As globalization gains momentum, Singapore might have to come up with more than just loosening up rules and regulations to keep, cultivate, and attract talent.
Certainly, Singapore is a new nation state, and therefore the idea of there is already big discussions about the idea of Singapore's rootedness to the country, the extent to which there's a sense of belonging.
But some see it differently. It's all about exploring new frontiers.
If I were to be given an opportunity to venture overseas, I think that would not really turn me as either a winner or loser, but just that I'm willing to take the risk and I'm willing to explore new opportunities. Yeah, it should not be so judgmental, on the person who is willing to try out something that's different.
But who could blame those who've left? After all, Singapore itself is trying to seek better opportunities as it risks breaking its conservative mold to improve its economic position in the ever-changing global landscape.